quiet town of Greenridge, Michael Carter lived a simple life. He wasn't a man of great learning or powerful friends. He was just a small-town cable operator. But Michael understood one thing, profoundly, the power of a good story. His world revolved around his wife, Sarah, and their two daughters, Emily and Sophie. They were more than his family. They were his everything. And one day, that perfect world was shattered. It started with a mistake, a moment of misplaced trust. During a school camping trip, Emily fell into the orbit of Ryan Mitchell. He was charming, confident, popular, everything a young girl might find captivating. But behind that charm, a darker side emerged. Misunderstandings quickly spiraled into threats, leaving Emily feeling frightened, confused, and utterly trapped. One evening, with Michael away on a late-night service call, Ryan showed up at the Carter home. The air crackled with tension. Angry words were exchanged, and tempers flared. In the ensuing chaos, there was a shove, a stumble, a sudden, sickening thud. Ryan fell. The world went silent. When Sarah rushed to his side, her heart pounding in her chest, he wasn't moving. Pure, unadulterated fear flooded the house. It wasn't born of malice or evil intent. It was just panic, cold and absolute. When Michael finally returned home to this scene of quiet horror, his reaction was not what you'd expect. He didn't scream. He didn't point fingers or cast blame. He simply gathered his terrified family close, his gaze steady, and listened. He absorbed every tearful, fragmented detail. And when they had finished, he looked at his wife and daughter and said to simple words, "Tell me." That night, as he pieced together the fragments of their story, Michael Carter ceased to be a simple cable operator. He transformed. He became a planner, a strategist, a protector. He became a man who understood the delicate, fragile nature of memory and truth. Michael knew that every investigation, every search for the truth, is built on a foundation of timelines, witnesses, and small, remembered details. A single crack in that foundation could bring the whole structure down. So, he decided to build his own foundation, a new reality. He did something no one would expect. He packed up his family and took them on a trip to the neighboring town of Riverton. They didn't hide. They did the opposite. They made themselves visible. They ate at diners, spoke to shopkeepers, bought souvenirs, and created a tapestry of mundane, ordinary moments. They were just a family enjoying a spontaneous vacation. A week later, they returned home and did it all again, creating more interactions, more fleeting impressions. Nothing illegal, nothing dramatic, just seeds of memory planted in the minds of strangers. Because Michael Carter understood a fundamental human truth: people don't remember raw events. They remember the stories they are told. Soon enough, Ryan Mitchell was officially reported missing. The investigation began, led by a fiercely determined detective who also happened to be Ryan's mother, Laura Mitchell. The town was abuzz with questions and whispers. The Carter family was brought in for questioning, interviewed separately to catch any inconsistencies. But there were none. Their timelines matched perfectly. Their emotions worry, confusion, a touch of fear about the missing boy all aligned. And the undeniable proof, security camera footage. Clear as day, it showed the Carter family miles away in Riverton, on the very day Ryan was last seen. Detective Mitchell felt it in her gut. Something was wrong. The story was too neat, too clean. But suspicion isn't evidence, intuition isn't proof. And the hard proof, the kind that stands up in court, simply never materialized. The case grew colder and colder until, eventually, it was shelved officially. Ryan Mitchell had vanished without a trace. Months passed. The seasons changed. The town of Greenridge slowly returned to its quiet rhythm. One evening, Laura Mitchell appeared at the Carters' front door. She wasn't wearing her badge or her uniform. Tonight, she wasn't a detective. She was just a mother, her eyes holding an ocean of unspoken grief. "We know something happened," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "Please, just help us understand." Michael looked at her, his expression calm, his gaze unwavering. He didn't offer a confession or an apology. He simply asked a question. If someone threatened your child, what would you do? A heavy silence filled the space between them. In that silence, an understanding passed. Something deeper than words. No accusations. No admissions. Just the raw, shared truth of a parent's love. Laura Mitchell turned and left without another word. A year later, the town celebrated the inauguration of its new, state-of-the-art police station. Michael Carter walked through the gleaming hallways, nodding to officers who greeted him as a respected member of the community. As he stepped back out into the bright afternoon sun, it glinted off the polished plaque by the door. The town felt peaceful, orderly, safe. And buried deep beneath that carefully constructed safety lay secrets that would never be uncovered. Not because they were hidden by intricate lies, but because the master storyteller had made everyone look in the wrong direction. Sometimes the greatest illusion is not what you hide. It's where you make the world look instead.